Tonight, our region's set to get its own rapid antigen test distribution point, and Australia Day celebrations scaled back in the wake of the Omicron outbreak.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening, and welcome to another year of your local news. We start tonight with an update on the COVID situation across the Spencer Gulf, with numbers steadily increasing in major centres. In a bid to ease pressure on the health system, the state government will open a new rapid antigen test hub in Port Augusta.
It's some sort of welcome news for the state's health authorities. 3,829 new positive cases were recorded in the 24 hours to midnight last night in South Australia, a figure the Premier says is below the expected average.
In fact, over the last 2 days, we've had more people recovered than infected in South Australia, another indication that we are getting towards the peak of this infection.
On a regional level, there are 140 active cases in Whyalla, 159 in Port Augusta, 160 in Port Pirie, and 233 in Port Lincoln. The member for Giles concerned the numbers will start to surge further in the regions.
The numbers are now just climbing in some communities now, well into the hundreds.
A new rapid antigen test collection site will open in Port Augusta tomorrow, with the state government hoping it will alleviate pressure on the existing PCR test sites. 2 kits will be provided to those identified as close contacts. It's also hoped the move will reduce demand at supermarkets.
I went around here in Whyalla to see which retail outlets had the tests. The chemists at that stage did not have any tests. Most of the major supermarkets did not have any tests.
More collection sites will open across the state in the coming days. Meanwhile, vaccinations have reached an all-time record with 138,000 shots in the 7 days up to January 15.
This is an all-time record. In fact, it blows the previous record completely and utterly out of the water.
Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Member for Frome Jeff Brock is calling on the state government and SA Health to provide better communication as COVID cases continue to rise. Businesses across Port Pirie have been closing due to COVID exposures and harsh restrictions.
It has been a stressful summer for Port Pirie residents as COVID makes its way through the community. Businesses are being identified days or weeks after a COVID exposure, with some sites not being listed at all, as SA Health struggles to keep up with the hotspots.
My concern is people ask me the questions about what is happening. How many people have we got COVID? I hear rumours of COVID in Port Pirie or wherever it may be. I said, well, I don't know because no one is telling me.
Mr. Brock wants the communication from SA Health to improve so he can stay updated with the case numbers and inform the community.
All I'm asking the government to do is please give the local members some communication, some change, some guidance, some reason why the changes are happening so that we can then reassure our communities.
The Sporties Bar had to close after a COVID positive case visited on Christmas Eve. Management were notified 4 days after the person had been at the pub.
Your hotspot map will tell you exactly what it is. Even our own health advice suggests that we can't get all the data because the data is coming too slow.
The hospitality industry is suffering as the Federal Hotel have closed their doors because of the harsh restrictions on capacity limits, making it hard for pub and restaurant owners to pay their wages and rent.
But over that holiday period is an opportunity before when the restrictions were going to be lifted, was an opportunity for those hospitality industries to locations to actually recoup some of the losses they've incurred over the last 18 months.
The restrictions, another blow for an industry already at breaking point. Christian Komenos, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Events across the region are also feeling the pinch of COVID, with a number of Australia Day events cancelled due to the virus. While organisers are disheartened, they feel people should try to still celebrate the day in a safe way.
Our region's Australia Day celebrations are falling by the wayside. Port Augusta Council's plans are the latest victim, with organisers announcing the traditional Gladstone Square event will not proceed this year.
Unfortunately, we've had to cancel that this year. A lot of events have been getting cancelled. it's something that's only just happened.
With Port Augusta infection levels rising, organisers say that action is necessary to slow the spread of the virus. Port Pirie and Whyalla councils also taking a similar stance, with their plans also called off.
Because of the increased COVID numbers and basically it was the safety of our community, we just couldn't bear it to be a super spreader event.
Organisers say people should still make an effort to celebrate the day in accordance with the state's capacity regulations. Residents encouraged to have more intimate celebrations.
Have a barbie, good old Aussie barbie, brunch, brekkie, whatever you want to do. Invite your friends over, put your Australian Day flags outside.
Many already looking ahead to next year, hopeful the traditional celebrations will be given the green light.
Hopefully by next year it's all up and going again, and we're starting to get back into some level of normality, whatever that looks like.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Police are continuing to investigate a robbery at a Whyalla Playford Hotel last week. 2 men are accused of gaining entry to the hotel by smashing the glass doors last Thursday morning. Armed with a machete, the pair allegedly stole a cash till from the gaming room. No one was injured during the incident, and they were last seen heading north on Peter Street. Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Meanwhile, police are investigating a car break-in at Port Lincoln, where a 5-litre bottle of poisonous chemicals was stolen. The break-in allegedly occurred on Duncan Avenue in the early hours of Thursday, the 14th of January. The substance is considered hazardous and should not be ingested. Anyone who may have further information about the incident is urged to come forward and contact Crime Stoppers. Still to come tonight, Port Germain residents plead for the return of a popular icon, and the latest round of medical interns hit the wards at the Whyalla Hospital. Welcome back. Broken Hill Police are appealing for information over a break-and-enter on Cornish Street over the weekend. Just before 1 on Sunday, 3 males cut the padlock to a rear gate of the property. Witnesses then saw them run for the yard to a waiting white car, while the 4th rode off on a stolen motorbike. Police are asking for further witnesses to come forward or contact Crime Stoppers. The iconic wooden goanna Archie has been stolen from a public art trail in the Port Germain Gorge. Missing now for more than a week, his disappointed creator is planning on carving up another one, who will be bigger and better.
He was the lizard that put a smile on the faces of kids and families, but Archie is now missing, with his whereabouts unknown. Previously bolted to a log in the Port Germain Gorge, police believe it would have taken at least 2 people to remove him. His creator has been carving wooden animals and statues for years and isn't surprised this has happened.
My initial response was, I thought he would go sooner or later, but we were just hoping that the community would leave him there.
Peter says his carvings have had a positive impact on the community and tourists.
I've been told a lot of kids, stop and say hello to him when they go to Pirie through the gorge, and he is an icon with the mums having to, stop, slow down and say hello to him.
Police are now pleading for the community to be on the lookout for Archie. Peter hoping he is eventually returned to the gorge.
Hopefully, whoever's got him can bring him back or leave him somewhere where people can find him and we can replace him back into the gorge. That'd be nice.
In the meantime, plans for Archie 2 are well underway. Early indications suggest he will be bigger and much harder to steal.
Archie 2 is going to be, coming very soon. We'll replace him. Everyone loved him. This time we'll crane him into spot and make sure he's not liftable. So, they can just chainsaw him off.
Christian Komenos, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The next generation of doctors have arrived in Whyalla, eager to help and serve the community. The 5 medical interns will take part in a number of activities to prepare them for eventual employment in the state's health system.
Stepping into an important role as young country doctors in the Spencer Gulf. These 5 people from the Adelaide Rural Clinical School starting their internship at Whyalla Hospital, preparing them for a path in rural medicine.
As country doctors, we are rural generalists. We're required to be jacks of all trade and master of none, and that requires a huge amount of clinical courage.
Commencing their orientation last week, staff introduced them to the everyday routines of patient care at the hospital. The interns from across Australia and the world happy to be here in Whyalla and serve the community.
The beach is amazing. The coastline here is just incredible. I haven't really had a chance to explore much, but I'm really looking forward to seeing the rest.
I haven't travelled around much of South Australia, so Whyalla, Lincoln, Port Augusta and all the surrounds, it's pretty exciting, and I love being by the water and the coast.
During their time in the city, the interns will undertake a variety of activities to give them a first-hand experience as a country doctor.
In Whyalla, they're based primarily on the medicine and the surgical wards, so they'll be involved in the routine of managing elective surgery.
They will also be involved in the region's COVID-19 response, providing much-needed help for a very busy health system. Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
This year's Colourtumby Festival will be backed by federal funding in a show of support for the street art project. The event is fast becoming one of the region's biggest tourist drawcards, with artists travelling from across the nation to take part.
A cash splash to support one of our region's most recognised events. This year's Colourtumby will be boosted by a $36,000 federal support package. The local mayor says the grant will reignite regional arts.
So this will be the 4th Colourtumby Festival, and as people wander around Tumby they can see some of the great street art like we see all the way around some of the walls, and it's really an experience for locals and visitors which is unique to South Australia.
In a time when many events are being cancelled, Council and the Progress Association have worked together to make the program possible.
Well, unfortunately, we have seen a number that have had to be cancelled around this time, and the organisers are obviously going to be moving towards making sure it's going to be a safe event.
The 2022 Colourtumby Festival also looking to expand its offerings by adding a range of new events.
So there's going to be the street art, there's going to be markets, there's going to be looking at a fun run and a lot of different events which is going to add to the whole dynamic of the weekend.
Created after the success of Tumby-based silo art in 2018, the festival has grown to become one of the region's biggest tourist drawcards.
The town's certainly very excited about the opportunities of working together again on a festival and making it so that it's an event which is actually have something for everyone around the community.
The event will begin on March 11. For more details, visit Colourtumby's website. Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us. Our region's workers set to look for greener pastures in 2022. And Port Lincoln plays host to the States junior squash team. A police pursuit in Broken Hill has ended in the arrest of a 33-year-old woman. At 5 p.m. on Friday, a Broken Hill Highway Patrol detected a white Ford Focus travelling in excess of the 50-kilometre speed limit on Wolfram Street. When police attempted to stop the Ford, it sped off, reaching speeds of up to 130 kilometres. Police searched the Ford, allegedly locating a number of items, including prohibited drugs, cash, men's watches and mobile phones. She was refused bail and appeared in Broken Hill Court. The ongoing pandemic is producing an unexpected side effect, with experts predicting millions of Australians will re-evaluate their working conditions in 2022. Known overseas as the Great Resignation, they say it is already beginning in South Australia, with many looking for greener pastures.
2022 is being called the year of changing careers. With coronavirus lockdowns and workplace capacity procedures put in place, workers have had time to contemplate what their ideal work really is.
Particularly post-pandemic time now, people sit back and have a think about what's really important to them.
Seeing all the reports that we're on the precipice of the Great Resignation, a period where we're going to see workers leave organisations at both pace and scale.
Experts say the Great Resignation is already being felt internationally, with millions of US and UK employees leaving their jobs in 2021. The societal shift is predicted to hit South Australia in a similar way this year.
38% of Australian workers are currently looking at leaving their employers over the next 12 months.
Workers citing a fear of COVID, lack of passion, and trying to spend more time with family as the main reasons for a career change.
Think about what are the possibilities and how do I align my values and my purpose to a meaningful career that brings about happiness for both, myself and family.
They say the flexibility of the current job market will only help regional workers get their dream job.
With talent and jobs now being everywhere in the hybrid world with flexible work arrangements, that people can live in regions and still take up a job anywhere.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The finishing touches are underway on a redevelopment for a number of Crystal Brook shopfronts. 17 businesses along Bowman Street are working with Port Pirie Regional Council to increase their appeal. Improvements include repairs, new seating, painting and sign rating, along with new solar lights at each crossing. The works were funded by a $235,000 grant, which was secured through the federal government's Drought Communities program. Port Lincoln has hosted some talented visitors, with Squash SA's junior state team visiting the city, taking on veterans from the local club. Experts say the team currently has some of the best young squash players in the nation on its books.
An interregional battle taking place on the courts of Port Lincoln. In a rubber for the ages, the Sea Eagle Squash Club faced the state junior team in a competitive contest. With the national championships cancelled, the sport's best young players travelled to the regions to put their abilities to the test.
All our kids are really excited to be here because normally they'd get to go into state 2 or 3 times a year for playing all the other states at the national championships. Hasn't happened for 2 years, so they're really excited just to get out of Adelaide and take on anyone.
Facing a more experienced opponent, the young ones didn't shy away from the older competition.
Our juniors do play adults back in Adelaide, but they don't play them in this kind of team environment where the two teams will come at each other really for big scores. So it adds a little bit of something special, a little bit of extra pressure.
First-year state player Jackson Lynn saying he couldn't be happier when on court.
It's amazing, you get fitter as well, and you get to have fun. It's really fun, sociable as well.
The team will regroup in Adelaide before setting their focus on this year's first major tournament, the National Junior Open.
Yeah, these kids will get a couple of weeks off and then they'll hit the summer training, trying to get a bit more physical and cardio and anaerobic fitness in. Their first major tournament next year's in Bendigo, Australian Junior Open, that's in March.
The Port Lincoln Squash Club encouraging those interested to sign up ahead of the new season. Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. Alex Sykes will join us with all the latest weather details. That's next on 7 Spencer Gulf News. Hello again. Time now to go around our region and check what the weather is looking like for the rest of the working week. With all the details and latest forecast, it's good evening for the first time this year to Alex Sykes.
Thanks, John, and good evening, everyone. It's great to be back with you all. It was a gorgeous day across our region today. From 3 p.m, Port Augusta was cloudy and 27, Port Lincoln was 24, and Broken Hill was partly cloudy and reached 26 degrees. Looking further out across the region now, Whyalla was cloudy and 25, Port Pirie was cloudy and 28 degrees. Adelaide and Clare were both 24. Woodnor was cloudy and 26. Port Pirie was cloudy and 28. Kadina and Cleve were both 23. Cooper Pedy had rain and was 20 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite image now, cloud covering most of the state with approaching ex-tropical cyclone Tiffany, and an upper level trough is causing widespread rainfall, mainly about the central and southern parts of the state. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now. now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. South to southeasterly winds 15 to 20 knots, seas 1 to 1.5 metres, and south to southwesterly swell below 1 metre. Port Lincoln and Cleve both cloudy and 22. Woodna partly cloudy and set to reach a high of 28 degrees. While partly cloudy and 25, similar conditions for Port Augusta, set to reach a high of 27 degrees, and Kadina will reach 26. Port Pirie cloudy and 30, Clare mostly sunny and set to reach a high of 26. Broken Hill will have a shower or two and reach 24. Taking a look further through the week now, mainly fine conditions across the Gulf on Wednesday. Cooper Pedy and Broken Hill both 29. Port Augusta, Port Pirie and Whyalla all will be sunny, partly cloudy across the rest of the region. Heating up Thursday, temperatures mainly in the mid-30s, partly cloudy across most of the region except for in Woodna, where it's set to be a top of 33 degrees and rain. Cooling down on Friday with showers across most of the region, partly cloudy in Cooper Pedy, temperatures mainly in the late 20s to mid-30s. So it appears we may need the umbrella in the back half of the week, John, and that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Monday evening. Thanks for joining us for the first time this year. I'll have updates later, and we will return tomorrow night at 7 p.m. on 7 2. Until then, enjoy your evening here on 7. Good night.